So I did make some changes to this one the other day because I needed to get a bill of materials sorted for our supplier. I went through and changed all of these external cameras to bullets, wall mounted. So just the same thing as before. So potentially you did this takeoff before that feedback came in. So not really worried about it. I just made the changes so I could get the bill of materials correct. I'm just gonna work through what I need to work through, and I'll record myself while I'm doing it. So I might not talk my way through it. If I feel like there's something to talk about, I'll talk. But otherwise, I'll just work through what I need to work through, and if hopefully we can get something out of it. I'm going to assume that these are on another drawing, and that's what the dotted line is demarcation between this drawing. Yeah, so there it is. So that's perfectly fine. Maybe if you, just for clarity, I'm just thinking just to try and keep it so we all know what's going on. That would be, if you could just make little notes like that for me, that would be great. Just so I know that you've captured it and it's not something that I need to go back over. For what it's worth, this is a lighting drawing, I believe. Proposed lighting layout. So typically you wouldn't see the CCTV cameras on the lighting drawing. So well done for picking them up. That's normally that would probably get missed. We wouldn't really go looking on the lighting drawing. So yeah, well done for picking that up. That's great work. Okay, so note 3, I'm just going to have a read what that note is. Cabling roughing to be allowed for in base tender price. Access control hardware to install, supply and install of access control hardware and commissioning be priced separately. Okay, so I just want to make sure if we see something like that, that's something we definitely need to be aware of. There's a little cloud here that we'll just, something like that would be perfect, just to make sure that where our attention's being brought to that. Yeah, and that's a great point. Not for you guys to worry about, but this consultant isn't the greatest consultant. We've had issues with their drawings and informations before, and that's potentially why this is a little bit all over the shop. But yeah, once again, great. Your attention to detail is great. So thank you for picking that up. One thing to note, we've actually just updated all of our symbols. So when you drop in these new symbols, you'll see here we've got some new symbols. We went to the effort of trying to create some new symbols based on what would be required and symbols that actually made sense. So you'll see now the symbols have changed. So electric strike, you might have to start looking for some new symbols. But we've tried to make them self-explanatory. You can see M being monitored in this instance. Same thing here. So electric strike, M monitored. So we've tried to make them pretty straightforward. So D is double, DM double monitored. So yeah, just something to keep your head, keep an eye out for. Auto door interface. We've now started to create their symbols. Lift interface, garage door interface. They've all got their own custom little symbols. Hopefully that makes it easier. Duress buttons, wall mount, duress button under desk. So there's different mounting for those. CCTV's now got all the recorder sizes, all the switches, monitors, UPS, different camera types, so dome cameras. There's weatherproof, lift camera, wall mount. So the W in this one stands for wall mount. PTZ camera, bullet camera external, just is the same. LPR, so license plate recognition, and then bullet camera ceiling mount. So when we do ceiling mount one, we've got the ability to note that too. And then intercom. So the two main ones stay the same, but intercom control panel, power supplies, switches, access control interface, lift interface. So we're trying to get a little bit more specific about what we're doing with the symbols. So hopefully that helps you guys on your end as well. What I'm going to try and find right now is that drawing. This one. I want to try and find the comms rack. The reason I'm looking for the comms rack, and I believe it'll be shown on this drawing, is because all the cameras that are shown on the lighting drawing need to be run back to a comms rack. Comms rack. So there we are. So what has to happen is all of the cameras that are shown on this drawing need to be run back to a comms rack that's not shown on this drawing, but it was over there somewhere. So what I'm going to try and do is capture that little piece of information. So it's pretty much on the, try and find a reference point. So between 6 and 7 in the middle. So we'll find the same reference point. So it shows you issue with this drawing. So 6 is above 7, and there is a comms rack here. Now, I want to put it on the drawing, not to include it in our takeoff, but just so we know where the comms rack's going. So yeah, it's more so for a reference now to say, okay, all of the cameras in this area need to run back to that point, which starts to pose some other questions. No scale, which is helpful. When there's no scale, it makes it really hard to try and work out cable lengths when you've got an issue like this. So we might use something else as a reference. We can see a door. All right. So these doors would typically be about 1680 wide. So if we were to measure the scale, you can set the scale based on something else. All right, so we'll run with 1 to 100. It might work. Let's just. So yeah, so that's 2 920 doors. So that's pretty good. So 1 to 100, I reckon, is right. Probably seen it before on building drawings. So this drawing, we need to get that cable from that camera across a 39 meter building, and we'll also have to go up the walls and across. The maximum cable run we can do for our data cables for cameras is 90 meters. So we've got 40 meters there, which leaves 50 meters, 25 meters down, 25 meters down across, pretty much to do that run, if we can go straight across the top like that. It's unlikely that we'll actually have that ability to just run in a straight line across the top. So this is something that we just need to be very careful of when we're designing systems, about where the cameras are actually running back to. I might have to make an assumption for this one, just to make sure it doesn't hold us up. So let's see if we can find another comms rack.